All right, so working from home is the topic of today's video. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. So working from home is a new concept for me, and I'm adjusting to life as a business owner, freelance videographer. Not having an employer, there's some good parts to that. There are some challenges to that, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about what life is like now that I don't have to arrive at an office anymore.
Look, Daddy!
That's right, Daddy. So this is this morning. I have a 2-year-old toddler. She is in daycare 4 days a week. And most of the time, Mommy helps me get her ready in the morning, but if she has to get out the door a little early, I usually have to do something with her hair. Can you do it? You know, I don't have any hair, so my attempts to try and put her hair into hair wraps never work out, so I usually just bust out a hair clip and part it to the left. There you go. Now it's out. Not bad. So that's one of the advantages of being self-employed is I can work my own hours. I'm kind of steering how much volume I take on. I control completely the amount of work I'm going to do. I can make a little bit of money and not work all that much. I can work a lot of hours and make a lot more money. So one thing that was my goal in becoming self-employed was I wanted to spend more time with my daughter. So I did that simply by limiting the days that she is in daycare. So she is in daycare Monday through Thursday, and I have daddy-daughter days every single Friday. A lot of days we go over to Grandpa's. My dad lives in Altoona, and so I take her up there to hang out. It's kind of killing two birds with one stone. Everybody gets to hang out with family. So, Fridays are sort of, figuring out what to do with a toddler for the entirety of the day, which, if you're in a house with a toddler all day, it can be a challenge to kind of keep the house clean, figure out what to do with them, keep them entertained, keep them out of trouble, prevent their death, but it's absolutely, my favorite day of the week. Guess what else I got to be put in charge of? I'm in charge of making the turkey. So my wife gave me some sort of instructions on getting the turkey started today, and I honestly think it's going pretty well. We're midway through the day here. It's got still a few more hours to go, but on my iPhone, I'm going to shoot this little time lapse. I'm going to use the time lapse feature to show you me buttering up the turkey, which was one of the mandatory things I was supposed to do. If you go into the video settings, there you can kind of swipe left, swipe right. There's different options. This is on an iPhone. I have an iPhone. This feature is the time-lapse feature. And so instead of me recording 15 minutes worth getting this turkey all buttered up, I instead just hit the time-lapse and it'll speed it up. It's going to keep the file super small compared to had I rolled for 15 minutes because it's taking individual photos at different intervals instead of continuously rolling in a video. Professionals and most people might be rolling their eyes at my explanation of a time lapse. I get it. Maybe you know how to use a time lapse. It's also a useful technique for what we call establishing shots of cities. I did a time lapse of Chicago before. This is a time lapse of Washington, D.C. Keeping with the idea of being self-employed and sort of managing my time throughout the day. So one big sort of challenge, I would say, is not letting the day get away from you. When I had an employer, I had, responsibilities. I had some place that I needed to show up. I needed to be in attendance in order to not lose my job. now it's completely up to me to manage my time throughout the day and make sure that I'm getting things done. I want the work to be done in a timely manner, but I also want it to be of quality. I don't want to spend 5 hours doing some sort of crazy transition and then I still have a 15-minute video to edit. You have to kind of balance your choices of, hey, is it worth it for me to try this new thing that I've never done before with video editing if it takes all this extra time and then I'm not able to complete the client work. When I worked in news, every single day there were deadlines. We would get a story assignment in the beginning of the day, and by the end of the day, something was going to be on TV, whether we liked it or not. That forces you to say, hey, I don't have the time to sit here and create some graphic that'll take me 2 hours. You have to be happy with what you did in the amount of time because it has to be done that day. I don't really work under those same deadlines anymore. Most clients that I'm working for, it's not like, hey, I need this by the end of the day. It's, working weeks out, more in-depth things. As long as I'm getting it as long as I'm getting it to them in a timely manner, that's the goal. But there's nothing as strict as there was with the news deadline, which was multiple times a day, you have to be getting video done. That's one of the things that I'm sort of challenging myself to not let the day get away from me. I'm trying to shoot content like this, but it can only take a certain amount of time before it's counterproductive. If it's taking too much time away from me actually turning in client work, then I need to rein myself in and I need to be more efficient with my time. I only have a few hours where I can edit with a caffeine buzz, and then I need to take a break, 3-4 hours, and then I got to get out of the house. I need to get out of the house every single day, whether it's 20 below or not. I like to leave and do something. So one of the things I've been doing since I got back to Altoona is, I have a drone, I have new cameras that I work with for my business. They're places you come to appreciate when you're away from home so long that I probably drove by them all the time and just sort of shrugged it off, but they're really beautiful. One of the places is the Horseshoe Curve. It's a world famous Horseshoe Curve in Altoona, Pennsylvania. I took my drone up there and got some beautiful shots of that. But today, I had shot Baker Mansion a few weeks ago when the fall leaves looked good. But what I didn't like about the shot, and sometimes the drone doesn't work, is from like 300 feet in the air, it kind of just looks like a white building on a hill. It's not really identifiable from 300 feet up. So I went back to Baker Mansion today, and something kind of interesting, funny happened while I was there. We do not need to be wearing a pea coat and cap and scarf because it's 50 degrees out. But I've spent the last 10 winters in Southwest Florida, and I really just am gonna milk every opportunity I can, no matter how cold it is. So I'm getting all these like good shots of Baker Mansion. I'm flying my drone. I'm trying to get it right so that it's actually recognizable. I'm framing things. I'm moving all around, getting different shots, and I go up to the door and I see this sign on the door. I'm not being paid per se for what I shot today. And so I'm going to tag the Blair County Historical Society in this video, and then I am happy to donate whatever I shot today to them for their use. I'm gonna go check on my turkey. I wanted to make a video speaking a little bit about the freedom that you have as a freelancer and self-employed person, and that's what today's video is about. I'm in the infancy of all this, and you know, if you'd like to kind of comment on your thoughts of working from home, how that's been for you, how you've managed dealing with kids and getting dinner done on time. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go check on the turkey. Guys, have a great Thanksgiving holiday with your family. I hope everyone's safe, sound, and we'll see you on the next one. I think we did it. With a spoon and some willpower. I think we did it.